Well, now that we're back into Corel Painter, I have selected a number of brushes that I would like to paint with in this painting. And some of these you will recognize that I used in Katarina's Tiger. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go with a artist canvas brush, or not brush, but texture. So here we go. We've got some of the new 2015, and I'm gonna let's see on this one here, artist canvas. That's good enough. We'll take that, and what I'm going to do here is I want to take this and put it into my custom folder that I have here that I have made. And you've seen how I just brought this up to here. What I didn't do is explain how to do that. So what we do is we just hit the shift key and then we bring it up and we put it into our area of work. If we're just starting, we can just do that to the glazing oils. Same thing. And what we'll do here is just to show you. There it is. I've added it, and I've also added it in the custom 14 before. So what I'm going to do is take that out of there. So I just take my hand, I hit the shift key, not the shift, yeah, the shift key, and pop. It's gone. So bear with me, and we'll get this thing going. Now I want you to paint this very, very bright. So I'm going to leave all of this pretty much the way it is right now. This is the way that I typically have my setup on my iMac, and it's the way that I like it. So I like it, and I'm sticking to it. So here we go. We're going to go and muck it up a little bit, and some of the brighter colors I'm going to put. Okay, I was just testing something out here. I'm going to bring it in here a little bit on the face. Oh, what happened? He's gone. I think Eric had a song. He's gone. All right. But it's no big deal. So here I'm going to save as, and it's going to take me to my folder here. I want to get to the desktop and Eric Clapton painting. And here is an important thing that I would suggest to all of you that are just learning how to paint with Corel Painter, no matter which version you have. And let me finish typing this, CLAPTON _001. Now what I'm going to do right here, and this has been a savior for me when I first started in Corel Painter and started seeing things. I wanted to get back and find out what brushes I had used, and I was introduced to this method, and it really has saved me an ungodly amount of time. So I'm going to put here Sharon's Blender Wood. I know what those initials stand for. And _001. I'm going to come back here and remove this underscore because I really don't need it. Now, we're going to save it. There. Bingo. It's done. Now I'm going to take some other brighter colors that I want. I don't want any lime green. I want yellow. And, okay. It's, there we go. See how this brush just is... it allows me to start out with a bunch of colors, and the reason I lighten it up a little bit in the middle, and that's because I'll hit Command T for the tracing paper, and everything is reachable. In other words, I don't have to squint and get headaches and figure out where all this is. And I have found out that sometimes if I go ahead with a lighter color in the area of the image itself, it allows me to find it a little bit quicker. So we're just going to hit Command Option S. Okay, that's this guy right here. Iterative save, and it saved it. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to do the face area with the real soft chalk. But we're going to, in this case, what we're going to do is to begin putting the image in first. So what I'm going to do is hit Command T. My size is pretty small, and this is a great brush for me. It's one that I've used for a long time, and I've got this on clone, which means I'm picking up the colors underneath. I'll show you what I'm doing. There you go. Pretty sweet, huh? And we'll pick up some of the guitar, and this is done really quick, as you can see. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and we'll see how this reflects in the image of the face of Eric Clapton. Hitting Command T again, and that's coming along pretty good. And this is nothing like it's going to finish, believe me. And I like this. And at my shows, this really it separates me from most of the other artists that are out there. There's not very many here in Michigan that are using Corel Painter yet, but maybe I could teach them. And I'm going to go along here and just pick up, I'm going to hit Spacebar and Option or Alt. I'm going to move things around a little bit because I want the same effect. It's kind of shouting out, isn't it? Which is really what I want to have here. Okay, we're going to come in here and get part of the guitar. And what I'm doing here is holding down the Option and Command key, and see where this little X is. I'm just making it in some cases a little bit smaller. And in other cases, I certainly can make it larger. But for right now, with what I have in mind for this painting, I don't have a clue. But other than the fact that it's kind of coming along pretty good. And I talk a lot, don't I, during these paintings? Maybe I should just be quiet and paint. So in any event, I'm going to, and again, like I said, this is just it's a great brush for bringing in the image on the first go around. There's going to be many, many, many more, believe me. But this gives me a pretty good effect. I sometimes keep in my paintings. And what do we got here? I don't know if I like all that. Now I'm going to hit Command Z and take that out. But we're going to pick up some of the stuff here in Eric's guitar, that's for sure. Okay? And these are reflections. I want to double check something here before I go too far. I want to take the original image Yeah, these are reflections right off of his guitar, and these are lights in the background, as well as possible reflections off of the amplifiers. So we're just gonna move very slow here, and patience, Don, patience. You gotta be patient. And when you enjoy doing what you're doing, it'll show. And I have been using Painter ever since Procreate actually invented Painter, and I have the original discs from Procreate, and I don't know what version it was, but it's how it all started out. So it's been a while, and I think that is pretty good for now. Let's see here a little bit more into the shirt area. And again, that is using just one brush, the liquid ink depth bristle. Now you can change all these things. You can change the size, opacity, and even the feature. But I like the feature, and you'll see why as I move along in this painting. Now you'll notice that Steve's signature, when you look at the painting itself, it's gone. I painted right over it, and there's my signature is going to be there in its place. So I like this. I like that shadow that son of a gun is finally gone. Oh my. So here we go. And we're going to save this. Save as. And what I'm going to do here is, this is going to be number 3. LI for liquid ink. Depth, bristle, underscore 003. Save this as a riff file. Bingo, I've got it saved. So if I ever want to come back and look at some of this stuff as to how I was progressing early on in the painting, or if there was a certain area that needed some work, I can go back and grab it and kind of see what's happening and why it happened. And so anyway, there is that brush. So now I have used 2 brushes. I have used the depth brush, which I'm using now, and I have used the blender wood from Jeremy Sutton. So in any event, I'm going to bring in that eye just a little bit better, and this is good for now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Option Command or Alt Command on my Mac, S, and to show you what happened just now, it saved it as number 4. Okay, it automatically saved it as number 4 for me. I like things that are automatic. Okay, let's go in and dress this up a little bit better in some areas. It's got a real nice effect to the texture of the hair. And we're going to be working quite a bit on Eric's hair with some other brushes here in a while. I'm not going to have you go through the pain of seeing this entire painting done, but I'm going to, when I grab new brushes and stuff, that's when I'll bring you back into it when we change something. And here we want to kind of just go with the flow of the hair a little bit, make it just a tiny bit smaller so I know what I'm doing, which isn't always the case. But in this case, it's a-okay. All right. Well, it's beginning to shape up a little bit. I'm not worried about any of this in here, believe me. Trust me. I'm not at all concerned. And when you look in the layer box, the canvas is where I do all of my background coloring. And as I begin to build the image, some brushes, when you select them, like the watercolor and others, automatically adds another layer. Now, the next brush that I use is going to be, I'm going to add a layer. It's going to be a, let's see how this is going to work out for us. Yeah. Let's just see. There's nothing like some of the chalk brushes for various skin tones. There's all sorts of brushes you can use on skin tones, but I want this to really look like a wonderful painting, and to attract the viewer to the image, I have to do some things that maybe people aren't accustomed to seeing. And I don't do too bad of a job at that at the shows. I can hear my dog, Darcy, she's a mastiff, and she's been underneath my desk during this entire painting so far. I'm just doing little dabs. I'm not making big swipes. There's no sense in that. Just making little dabs. And I could change the angle of the brush if I wanted to. Okay. We're just going to kind of leave it like that for now. And then I'm going to come down here and do the same thing on Eric Clapton's neck. I've got to slow it down. I can feel myself starting to rush a little bit, and I don't want to rush. I like the way that I'm using some different brushes in skin tones, and I discovered this recently on a Brad Paisley painting that I did this week, and it turned out okay. That's up and on my website that you can view at djpavlica.com. And anyway, I want this to give it a pretty unique effect. Okay. Now the size is 29. I'm going to take it down to right around 20. I've got a couple of options. I can use this slider, or I can just highlight it and turn it into 20. And you'll see it's just a tad bit smaller, which is fine, which is okay. Don't ever be afraid to change the sizes of the brushes as you progress through your paintings. That adds a lot of uniqueness to your style. I know some folks that dabble in this a little bit, and you can tell from their paintings that, doggone it, they're using one size brush. And so anyway, I'm gonna come back. This is just the beginning. You know, we're just continuing with our, I don't want to call it a underpainting, but it is certainly the very, very, very beginning of this painting of Eric Clapton, because I'm going to end up doing other areas. I want to make sure I get all of the skin areas and the tones, that they come in nice and that they blend together very nicely. I could turn this into a blender if I wanted to, but for right now, we're just going to kind of go with what I've got set up. Okay, and you notice I'm not doing all of the hand. I still like some of this effect down here that I got from the liquid ink. So I might leave some of that in there. And what we'll do here is give you a break. Give me a break too. And I'll bring you back. I'm going to use some different brushes in the shirt and in the guitar and so on and so forth, as well as I'll show you how to do all of this in here and still being able to show not only the strings but also some of the bars there. So we'll see you in a few.